It's officially the season of the witch. That's right. It's September. We all know it. And this is when it is time to embrace our inner witch, get spooky with it, and also a lot more than that. So, in today's podcast episode, I'm going to talk to you about what makes this the season of the witch, besides Halloween, of course, and all of our favorite witchy movies and all the good witch stuff out at all the stores. And, who else buys their home decor this time of year? Raise your hand. I do. But what it means for you, what the autumn season means for you in terms of transformation, of growth, reclaiming your power. So let's dive into the season of the witch. If the word witch makes you feel full of power and excitement, if you love personal development but loathe boring love and light conversation, if a sexy combo of witchery and inner work piques your interest, you're in the right place. Welcome home, Magic Maker, and welcome to Expedition to Soul, the podcast brought to you by the Sisters Enchanted. Hello, everyone. Sarah here, back at you with this week's episode of Expedition to Soul. And the season of the witch. Who loves the autumn season? I bet everybody here listening loves this season, or you wouldn't be here, because it is when we have Halloween and the leaves change and we can get spooky, witchy with it and not feel weird about it. Now, there are some people listening to this podcast today who are lifelong witchy women. You have a spiritual practice that is part of who you are and part of your life. And then there are others of you who are curious about all this witch stuff, and you're curious about what it means to call yourself a witch and how it is that people use tools like tarot and crystals and herbs and feel confident in their intuition. And so there are people here from this whole spectrum of being when it comes to the word witch. Now, the word witch is one that is multi-dimensional in that there are a lot of stigmas and attachments to the word. So the word witch, when we say like I'm a witch or we bring up that word, I think that there are a couple things that happen for people. One, we think of fairy tale witches, Disney movies, and really that kind of character archetype of a witch. So at Halloween, like I dress up as a witch, but I am a witch and I don't dress like a witch every single day of the week. So we have that character aspect. And then there is also the aspect of the word witch that people associate with religion. So if you're a witch, that must mean that you have some religious belief system where you maybe do questionable things, or you don't believe in, like, I don't know, like God or churches or whatever. And the word witch in and of itself has nothing to do with religion or nothing to do with a religious belief system. So there are religious belief systems where people call themselves witches, like in Wicca, sometimes paganism, not always though. Not every pagan calls himself a witch. But the word witch itself is not witchery. Witchcraft is not a religion. It is a practice in connection. It's a practice in self-trust. It's a practice in coming back to the energies of the earth and the universe and yourself. For some of those folks, they are people who do believe in the Christian God. For some of them, they are another mainstream religion. For some people, they are not religious at all. Maybe they'd call themselves nature spiritualists, or, maybe nothing in particular, right? They just loved the connection they get with themselves and their energy and their body and their knowing when they engage in these practices of witchery. So with the season of the witch, we see more discussion of the word witch because there's witchy stuff and Halloween stuff all around us. Now, the season of the witch is kind of from September through into November, and it covers our autumn months. And those signs, the zodiac signs that come in those months as well. So we are taken through the sun in Virgo in September, then into Libra, Scorpio. And then if you think of the season of the witch as including all of November as well, which, some people might end it at November 1st. But if we go into the end of November, we're looking at Sagittarius as well. Now, the autumn months are aligned with the energy of water. And water is the element of dreaming and of emotion. So when we think of this time here, we are also called to consider thinking about life, thinking about ourselves and our future in a way that we haven't before. And often this can be outside of societal expectations, which is very witch like to be outside of societal expectations. So in the autumn months, we can use that energy, that liminal space of autumn to dream big about our future, to reconsider problems that we're having and reclaim our power and our agency in our lives to solve these problems. And when we use that witch word to describe ourselves, we're also giving ourselves the power to be authentically us without the attachment to outcome, expectations we've put on ourselves, expectations society has put on us, and really just do the thing that makes us feel good and helps us to get the result or the outcome that we are striving for. So, in that way, with the autumn months and that water energy, we can explore past versions of ourselves, current versions of ourselves, and new versions of ourselves as well, and tap into that witch energy there. Now, with the zodiac signs and the season of the witch starting in Virgo, Virgo is a very can be a meticulous sort of energy, but it's also an energy around nurturing, and it's an energy that can be used to support us in decluttering. And one of the things that happens in autumn is that the leaves start to fall from the trees, right? So nature itself literally sheds away what it no longer needs. It declutters its own self so that it can have rest and then renewal and growth again in the spring. So with Virgo, we're supported in clearing out layers of ourselves, versions of ourselves, thoughts, obligations, the stuff that we're tolerating. We can have this internal declutter as we start the autumn months and the season of the witch under Virgo to make space for more of what we want. Then we hit Libra. And with Libra, that's the energy of justice and harmony and balance. Well, how do we accept two truths at the same time in Libra? We've made space to be more of who we want to be in our lives. So with Libra, we want to reconcile our current lives with the version of us who wants to step fully into a witchery practice or to embrace the word witch in our lives or start a practice of new and full moon rituals or something, right? And then from there, we have Scorpio, and Scorpio is the sign of transformation. It's aligned with the scorpion, but also the phoenix. So when you burn something down and then it rises again from the ashes. So once we have decluttered, we have made space to have harmony between these two different truths, your life to date and your life that you will have next once you reclaim the word witch in the season of the witch months. With Scorpio, we can transform fully into that powerful being that we desire to be. And then, of course, Sagittarius towards the end of November, this is where we follow through. We shoot our shot. We go on the journey, right? And fully move forward in this season of the witch energy. Now, I wrote something down as I was preparing to talk about this topic here today. And the witches, I was saying before, there's a couple different energies around witches. And one is that character energy of like the Halloween witch archetype or the Disney witch sort of energy. But then there's also the idea that witches are bad and evil. And in historically, people who were called witches or named to be a witch or punished for being a witch, they were often just everyday people, most often everyday people who were easy scapegoats or people who did not comply with something for some reason, just really used to explain like a weather phenomenon or just something that the science didn't exist to explain yet. Or people who were different, like very different, people who were other. So that's the other end of the word witch, right? Is this, it's bad. You don't want to be other. You don't want to be called a witch. When really, as I said, witchery has nothing to do with religion. And it's really this reclamation of yourself and your power. So let me read to you what I wrote. And the question that I came up with here was, where are you afraid of being othered or afraid of your own power? So that's a question, two questions for you. Where are you afraid of being othered, being outcast, or where are you afraid of your own power? Those two places are the places in life where the word witch, I think, is most applicable for people when you step into these practices of intuition, of exploring nature spirituality, of using tarot, astrology, like coming home to your inner power. Because wherever you're afraid of being ousted or othered in your life, you're giving your power to that area of life. And then wherever it is that you are afraid of your own power in a situation, that is also where you're giving away or you're shrinking your power instead of stepping fully into it. So, a witch is this coming home to yourself. Claiming the word witch in the season of the witch is coming home to yourself. It's reclaiming your voice, it's reclaiming your power. What else did I write here? I had so many notes about this. This is where embracing the word witch can become a symbol of your own self trust. So, embracing the word witch can be a symbol of your own self trust. When you stop being afraid of what other people are going to say about you, and you stop being afraid of being ashamed or shamed by a family member, or like, how are people going to view me? What are they going to think of me if I take this act or make this decision? And then really not being afraid of your own power to act in those decisions. That is where reclaiming the word witch in the season of the witch is so powerful, because it is this dreamy energy. It is this decluttering energy. So whatever you're putting into place here, you are casting the vision for your future. You are shedding away all that does not serve you, letting the layers go and transforming into your most powerful self. And reclaiming the word witch or claiming it for yourself for the first time is a powerful way to do this. Challenging those expectations of others, expectations that you've put on yourself, and just authentically and confidently being who you are. So here's those two questions again. Where are you afraid of being othered? And where are you afraid of your own power? Oh my gosh. Both of those are you relinquishing your power to something outside of you, which is not very witch like, my friend. So, the season of the witch is upon us, and it is this time of both celebration. We have our harvest festivals happening here. We've got Mabon, which is the first day of autumn in September, and then the gratitude and ancestor harvest festival of Samhain, or Halloween, at the end of October. And I think that the invitation is there for you to see what it feels like to dress a certain way, to buy some tarot cards, to cast a spell, because society makes it for these 2 months of the year a you know an experience that doesn't seem so different. And so if you've been witch curious your whole life, this is a wonderful time to step into the season of the witch and explore what this can mean for you. And using the word witch to describe yourself, I think, is a powerful demonstration of self-trust, because which is such a loaded and packed word with all the different ways people look at that word. So if you've been feeling the itch to step into a witchery practice, and then you claim the word witch for yourself, whether you tell anybody or not is up to you. That is really this sign of self-trust in yourself, that you can authentically be who you are, be safe being who you are, and not be afraid of consequences of what other people are going to say about you, and take your own power back instead of giving it to those same people. So, what is the season of the witch? Well, at its most basic, it is the months of September and October. For some people, September, October, and November. But we can pull that back and explore how the energy of water and autumn and shedding and releasing and dreaming, and the zodiac signs we experience through this time, how that impacts and supports us in really stepping fully and confidently into who we are. The word witch is a multi-layered word. It's dimensional. There's a lot of feelings attached to the word. I really believe that it is a powerful marker in self-trust. It's a powerful tool in self-trust to say, I am a witch, or I love witchy things. I'm a witchy woman. If you don't want to say I am a witch, I am a witchy woman. I'm a witchy person. I am witch curious. That's another way to say that. But wherever you are afraid of being out, like the outcast, or you are afraid of your own power in a situation, those are great areas to apply some of this witch wisdom to and see what comes up for you. All right, y'all. If you want to step into the season of the witch, I invite you to join us in our free upcoming autumn equinox sacred shadow event. We're going to talk about the shadow. We're going to talk about your chakras. We're going to talk about the rhythm of the moon. It's going to be a beautiful experience, and it starts in just a few days. So be sure to check that out. Thank you so much for being here with me. We appreciate you being part of our podcast family and listening into this each and every week. And until next time, I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead. If you love the podcast, be sure to leave us a rating or a review. That helps us to get the word out about all we're doing here at the Sisters Enchanted. Thanks for being part of our community, and we'll see you in the next episode.